We always want our drawing to look like the reference when we're using a reference. That's perfectly fine to want it to look like the reference, but I want to talk about specific situations where there can be a lot of conflict when you're trying to draw something and it's not quite turning out right, and it can create these negative emotions like, oh, I'm not good enough, my skill's not there yet. I want to talk about that and ultimately why your drawing shouldn't look like the reference. When starting a drawing, there's a search before you even start. A hunger, one could say. It's a search for reference, to put it as practically as possible. You try to find an image that will inform your drawing. It can be something that inspires you, even something to directly copy. Truly, I think it's something deeper than that. I often find myself stuck when searching for reference. I know what to draw, but I want to find the perfect shot. A shot that has all the right lighting, the right shapes, etc. If I don't know what to draw, then it's basically the same. You're looking for something that will make the drawing for you, that the drawing's already complete in a way. You just have to copy it. That's sort of the feeling you're dealing with sometimes. So let's look at a situation where you do pick a less than ideal reference. Say after a long while of scrolling through Pinterest or going to the second page of Google Images, you can't seem to find what you're looking for. You end up settling. You find a picture that doesn't exactly have the exact thing you're looking for, but it'll have to do. So you start drawing, and there's a lot of conflict. The drawing isn't turning out the way you want. Maybe if you found another reference, it would be better. Maybe if you started over, it would be better. The doubts start pouring in. So what is this sensation and why do we accept it? I feel like it's a trap to think this way. What we're doing is searching for external validation. We're seeking for our art to be made outside ourselves. We are projecting some ideal drawing into the future, which can never be real, and then getting anxious when our real drawing doesn't quite match up to this projected ideal drawing. I feel like you could call this the third entity, right? You have the drawing on the page that you're making, that's in reality. You have the reference that you're copying, and then there's this third entity that's not real, it's imagined, and you sort of draw with it in mind. And I feel like that can be problematic sometimes. I guess it can provide motivation for you to try and reach this ideal in your head, but I feel like it can misguide you as well. So having this third entity in your head, I don't think this is good. That third entity, that projection, was never going to be real. It's amorphous and changes every time you picture it. This anxiety is harmful because it makes you essentially not enjoy drawing, and sometimes it can even stop you from drawing. The truth is, you can only draw what you can draw. At that moment in time, with your materials and the reference that you have, you can only ever make a certain drawing. To say that you could have made another drawing is to say that in another universe you could have made a different drawing, really. You can only ever make a certain drawing in a certain situation. It does tap into sort of the free will versus there is no free will debate, but I'll leave that for later. Now this whole idea, it does seem really weird. The idea that you can only ever make a certain drawing. You might be thinking, what, so I'm just supposed to make really bad, shitty drawings with bad proportions and what do you call it? I'm just resigned to that fate? And the answer to that is kind of yes. I think that there is no good and bad drawings to begin with. There can only ever be drawing. Say you make this hypothetical bad drawing, You're looking at your work and you're despairing. What do you do then? Are you a bad artist now? Because the art in this particular instance, in this particular situation, didn't match up to the non-art, the third entity in your head. In fact, there is no good and bad really. There's only good and bad when you stop drawing. The good is drawing, the bad is not drawing. For example, if there's bad proportion in a drawing, what is stopping you from adjusting the bad proportion? Can you not compare to the reference that you're drawing from and see where you've gone wrong? Can you not even go to the extreme and just trace over the drawing and see exactly where you missed out the measurements? Can you not hold a ruler up to the drawing and actually see the precise centimetre or inch that you're out of proportion? Say you can't adjust, say you're working in pen or ink or something like that. Is that not then a learning opportunity? Every drawing is an opportunity. If you close your eyes to the opportunity, then you're missing out, and that's when it becomes a bad drawing, when you don't recognise the opportunity. So to touch on the idea of references again, and it not looking like the reference you're drawing, let's examine that. The reference was made at a certain point in time, in a certain place, with certain lighting. For example, in a movie, it was filmed in a particular day with particular actors, with a particular crew working on making it look like that. For a painting, you're copying, again, it was made in a certain time period with certain expectations, with certain materials. The artist had certain resources available to them. So essentially, there's these variables that you can't hope to ever replicate. I would say it's innately impossible to exactly recreate the reference. You can only ever make your drawing. Of course, you can get it close to looking like the reference, but I really want to exaggerate the idea of you can't ever recreate that reference, that painting, that cinematography. I really want to exaggerate that. It brings us to the despair of not matching your drawing up to the reference. You recognise that you can't ever recreate the reference or capture exactly what you like about it. But let's say you actually did. Let's say you perfectly got whatever you're looking for out of that reference. Congratulations, you're essentially a robot. You're essentially AI. You recreated something that already exists. There's no you there, there's only the reference. There's a slavish copy of what already is. I have to ask, in this situation, where's the art in this? Those endearing marks that express the artist behind the drawing. I think we should take pride in our drawings not matching up to the reference. In not capturing the exact proportions and colours of the reference, we captured our own essence and brought that across to the viewer. We took what was essential and made it our own. Another question here is, what if you're doing a master study where the purpose is to get an exact copy in order to learn the secrets of this master you're copying and take those secrets on to your personal work? I'd say, well, benefiting from a master study isn't getting an exact copy. It's all about learning the way that master made art, how they applied line and colour. Did they idealise forms they saw in real life? like Michelangelo? Or did they capture an impression of the colour they saw before them, like the Impressionists, like Monet? I think that's why you should do master studies. By pursuing this kind of thinking, you automatically get a closer representation of their work that's truer to their essence than you would just copying. All you're learning from copying is how to be a parrot, essentially. There's no new knowledge, there's no new neural pathways being forged, anything like that. Therefore, when you do a study and it doesn't look exact, there's no need for anxiety and despair that might come when drawing from reference and not matching up. So, in conclusion, I want you to try something here. Make a drawing as you usually do, with whatever reference, with whatever materials. And while you're drawing, try to stay on the page and stay on the reference. Of course, there's going to be thoughts and emotions between these two when you flip from looking at your lower standard drawing that doesn't match up to the reference. You're flipping between these two, looking between. There's a compulsion to compare and put yourself down. But I'd say try not to do that. Try, when you feel this third entity being generated of the potential ideal drawing that you could have drawn, that should be being made, try to let that go, try to dismiss it, try to not feed that third entity. Let it go and return to the page in reality. Return to the marks being made on the page. Return to your bone and muscle hand, using motor skills to make these marks. Return to the fundamentals of what you see: line, colour, perspective, and just execute the drawing, really. Without that third entity, without that expectation, without projecting into the future of what you should be doing, of how things should be, stay on the page. This way, there can't be any despair. There can only really be the joy of drawing. Thank you for watching, and I hope to make more of these videos talking about topics. Thank you, bye.